Despite having a failed presidential campaign, it appears that Ronda Santis is already planning a political comeback. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video. Today, it is time to talk about the political future of Ron DeSantis because it appears that Governor DeSantis is already planning a political comeback. Yeah, that's right. We're not even through the 2024 presidential election, and already we're hearing rumors that, hey, DeSantis, he might be attempting a political comeback in a couple of years. Which is kind of crazy to think about because, let's face it, his 2024 campaign might have been the biggest train wreck of any presidential campaign in modern history. I mean, it was so bad that for many people, that was it. That's the end of Ron DeSantis. But it appears that, at least as of now, Ron DeSantis is going to attempt a political comeback. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it. Governor Ron DeSantis is poised to take the most public steps yet to rebuild his political future after dropping out of the 2024 presidential race, campaigning for GOP candidates in Florida and beyond in the coming months, and taking a leading role in fighting an abortion rights referendum in his home state. Now, this isn't that big of a surprise. For many people, this was expected. Hell, I said months ago that DeSantis was going to run again. Everyone kind of agreed that's what was going to happen. But no one really thought he had any chance in 2028 for the simple fact that his campaign was so bad. Like, we're not talking about, just bad. We're talking about historically awful. Like, that was one of the worst ran campaigns we have ever seen. It was so bad that any political future DeSantis had outside of Florida, it seemed like it was dead. But it appears that DeSantis, despite what happened a couple months ago, is actually taking good steps towards trying to rebuild some kind of political future. After months of sniping with Donald Trump, DeSantis will soon use his connections and fundraising network to help the former president, and is expected to bring in millions of dollars. And this is the first step to fixing everything. Fix his relationship with Trump. And we heard a couple days ago that's what's happening. And I always thought that this fight between Trump and DeSantis, it was mostly pointless. Now, you could argue who really started the slap fight. Honestly, I don't really care. In my opinion, continuing the slap fight that we saw during the primary now is pointless. In fact, the only person it benefits is Joe Biden. Because say what you will about DeSantis, he does have some significant influence within the party, especially when it comes to fundraising. Trump is the best fundraiser, but DeSantis is pretty good also. Now, DeSantis cannot fundraise with small donors. We saw that clear as day. I mean, he cannot fundraise at all. But he can fundraise with big donors. And that's the one thing that Trump could use. Now, Trump has been fundraising a lot better, but it doesn't hurt to have someone like DeSantis who has connections with some of these big donors. And even if they just give, a couple $100,000 each or whatever to Trump, it's still money that can be spent on trying to beat Biden. And that's why I think both these men realize that this is pointless. This slap fight that we had in the primary, why the hell should we continue it now? DeSantis is also planning to head out of state to campaign with GOP candidates for U.S. Senate. In other words, he's going to be a team player. Now, is he only doing this because he wants to rebuild his image? Maybe. But at least he's doing something. It's not like Nikki Haley or Mike Pence where they get embarrassed in the primary and they hate Trump so much that they say, screw this, I'm not going to do anything. No, orange man bad. At least with DeSantis, yeah, he said some dumb stuff about Trump after the campaign, but at least it seems like he realized this is stupid. I agree with Trump on like 85% of the issues or whatever. And Trump is obviously way better than Biden. So he's at least being a team player here. He's not like Nikki Haley, where she refused to endorse Trump and, says he has to earn her voters. It's like, yeah, your voters are Democrats. They're not going to vote for Trump either way. Hell, they're not going to vote for you. They voted for you just to spite Orange Man. They were going to vote Biden no matter what. The governor's still a very powerful brand and a powerful fundraiser, said one Florida Republican fundraiser, and I agree with that. Now, he's not as good as Trump. Again, Trump is the king of fundraising, especially with small donors. But you still want someone like DeSantis that, yeah, his image has taken a big hit, but he still is well-liked with many Republicans, and especially with big donors, he can fundraise. You want someone like that to help Republicans. Now, you could argue that, well, Nikki Haley had more big donors. The difference between DeSantis and Haley is DeSantis' donors were at least kind of conservative, or at the bare minimum, they've donated to Republicans consistently in the past. Nikki Haley's fundraising, well, a lot of it came from Democrats. That's why DeSantis is, actually worth something, while Haley, within the Republican Party, she's worthless. I mean, what does she do? Yeah, she fundraised from Democrats and wins over Democrat voters, but that doesn't help Republicans. DeSantis' biggest focus in 2024 is still Florida, where he'll be fighting two ballot measures that, if approved by voters, would expand access to abortion and allow the sale and use of recreational marijuana. The governor disagrees with the policies and also must confront the risk that the initiatives could drive Democratic turnout. I don't think that's going to change anything, though. This is the problem with the referendum strategy with Democrats. This is a presidential year. Stuff like weed and even abortion, yeah, they may turn out, Democrats that are complete partisan hacks, but they're going to vote either way to stop Orange Man. The problem with this strategy is it's a presidential year. It's not a midterm where turnout's going to be low and all of that, but also, this is Florida. What's Republican voter registration now? Like 2 million people? And it grows by like 100,000 each month. So, this idea that marijuana and abortion would somehow save the Florida Democrats is insane. And plus, you have like many Republicans that support marijuana. So it's not going to make them vote Democrat. They might already support the use of marijuana, but that doesn't mean they're going to vote for Biden. And as for the abortion referendum, this is the Florida Republican Party we're talking about. They're still a very competent party. And if there's one state party to figure out how to stop these nonsensical abortion referendums, it would be them. Plus, it needs like 60% of the vote to even pass, because Florida has a requirement like that, so it may not even pass either way. This idea that this is going to save Florida Democrats, it's a cope by the Democrat Party, because they finally understand that, yeah, we're not looking too good in the state. We're getting crushed. I think the governor has made it clear he wants to play a role in defeating the amendments, said Evan Power, chair of the Republican Party of Florida, and I'm glad that DeSantis is talking about it. This is the thing he should have been focusing on this entire time, not the 2024 campaign. He should have endorsed Trump and, yeah, do events with him and other Republicans, but he should have focused on Florida. This was his biggest mistake. Because he was never going to beat Trump. He just wasn't. And if he somehow, squeaked by the Orange Man in the nomination and somehow went against Biden, he wasn't going to win because a bunch of Trump voters were not going to vote for the guy. That's why he should have waited until 2020 and used these years to campaign, for other candidates like Trump, like Eric Hovney, Wisconsin, even in Florida, like Rick Scott. Do events with Republicans up and down the ballot across America, but also focus on Florida. Because you could argue that if DeSantis is somehow able to stop these referendums, especially the abortion one, it could very well be his biggest political win ever. Because he would be seen as the Republican that finally at least at the referendum level, got a significant victory. In a state like Florida, which I know it's, a fairly conservative and Republican state now, but even then, if he's able to beat Democrats on the issue of abortion, that could be his biggest political win yet. That's why I think it's very smart for him to campaign heavily against these referendums, especially the abortion one. But like the article says, campaign for other Republicans up and down the ballot. But in my opinion, the biggest success DeSantis has had the past 2 to 3 months or so is when it relates to Trump. Now, we talked about this a little bit, but Trump and DeSantis met in person. They had a private meeting, I think in Miami or Palm Beach, wherever it was. Either way, the two had a meeting. I think it was Mar-a-Lago. But either way, they met with each other. They apparently talked things out. They talked to each other and they realized this petty fight we have with each other, we got to put an end to it. It's not helping us. It's hurting us. In fact, we have to unite to stop Biden. And apparently, Trump actually praised DeSantis. He actually did. On Truth Social, he said he had a great meeting with Ronda Santis. This is how DeSantis can somehow maybe have a chance at a political comeback. I still think it's very unlikely. Just for the simple fact that outside of Richard Nixon and kind of Trump, who has had a political comeback that Ron DeSantis would need to even have a chance at the White House? Not many people. It is very unlikely. It doesn't happen that much. You need someone like Richard Nixon or Trump to do that. Is Ron DeSantis like Trump or Nixon? I highly doubt it. He's still a good governor, but that doesn't mean he has the same political instincts of Trump or Nixon. It's one of those things where his campaign was so bad that is it possible for him to even make a comeback of that caliber? We just got to see. I kind of hope he does. I just think it's kind of sad that his potential is so sky high, but he wasted it on a worthless presidential run that he had no shot of winning outside of Trump being thrown in jail and kicked off the ballot. Then maybe DeSantis would have won the nomination. But even then, he would have gotten crushed against Biden. But we just got to see. I hope this isn't the end of DeSantis. I think he has a chance at some kind of comeback. Does that mean it's going to happen? Very unlikely, but we just got to see. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.